So Carl, I know we've done some stuff with AI, right?
Oh yeah.
But I know some experts. You know some experts.
I know some experts too. Yeah, there's some experts in the field of AI, even though it's a fairly new thing. But there's experts when it comes to learning and education and technology integration. AI is a layer on top of that, and we brought in a couple.
Yeah.
For Digital Learning Day.
Yeah.
Who do we have today?
Who do we have in?
Are they out here and about? Oh, if you, I don't see them. Oh, they're virtual. They're right here with us. Right here. The magic of technology. We have Alana, Winnick, and Bagby joining us. Alana, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? Give us a little bit of your background.
My background is in childhood education. I have 3 degrees: childhood education, educational technology, and educational leadership. I combine all of those as the educational technology director and data protection officer of Pecanico Hills Central School District, which is located just outside of New York City. I also sit on the board of directors for NiceGate, where Carl's been many times, but we need to get Adam and Greg to come with it. Yeah.
Yes. Shout out to Adam and Greg. Come on.
Yeah. So it's like, if you're familiar with like an ISTE, it's like an ISTE, but in New York State. I really love it. I think Carl loves it. So you'll probably love it too if you come. And I also did write a book and have a podcast about generative artificial intelligence. Carl's been on the podcast. It's podcast and book are both called The Generative Age. And I also now I'm founded an organization called Students for Innovation, which empowers students to advocate for change in their schools. And we have a completely student-led virtual summit in May. Greg, we got to get some of your students to present for us. And it's for educators, so you should sign up. But I think what makes probably Greg and I a little bit different, we're not better, but different than a lot of people, is we're practitioners, like doing the work in the schools, living it, breathing it. I walk down the hall and there's children. On Mondays, I have AI Club, which is today's a Monday when we're recording. So I work directly with students, and on Tuesday I have Innovation Club. So I'm literally working directly with children, and I actually have students lead professional development and teachers lead professional development around AI. So we could talk about that later. Yeah.
Yeah, I've witnessed that a couple times, and it's pretty neat to see it. I think teachers respond well when it comes from students. So
I just feel some kind of way because you've been there and you've been on the podcast.
I know.
And I haven't been there.
Well, we could change that.
Adam's feeling a little left out right now. I can
Adam,
tell.
we can change these things. They're all changeable.
And without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Bagby.
Hi. I've not been on the podcast or been the NiceGate either. Thanks, Alana. But Bagby, I'm the coordinator of instructional technology in Hamilton County Schools, Chattanooga, Tennessee. I started off doing music stuff and technology stuff in the classroom. Then I got crazy and I was in administration and was a principal for like too many years, which I don't know what that was about. But they allowed me to
principal. Yeah.
Yes, I am, definitely. They allowed me to come and do tech at the district level. And while doing tech, I've had the pleasure of connecting with folks like the great folks on this podcast and other folks that are doing amazing things in the technology and education space. And in regards to AI, I've been doing a lot of teaching. I actually go into classrooms and help the teachers with AI. And I train teachers on using the latest and greatest, not just all the tools, but understanding the ramifications of the uses of AI and different things. And I try to put myself in places where that I'm connecting with these folks that are building for students. I'm happy to say that I've had conversations with Sal Khan before Conmigo came out. I've talked to Adil Khan about Magic School. I've talked to Arman, whatever his name is, probably Khan from Bristol. Okay, maybe not. I know it's not Khan. I can't think of his name. And Alex from AIEDU. And anyway, I try to talk to the folks that are actually creating this stuff for students and for teachers, so I can get an idea of their mindset as they're going and pushing into this. So that's where I guess that's where I bring in, and also with the diversity, the gap, and all the things. I had the pleasure of working on the technical working group for the National EdTech Plan, which was all about the digital divide, which came out last year.
So here's the thing. So, with AI being the thing on everyone's lips, every time you talk around, everybody's talking about AI. Sometimes in our space, we can kind of get like, oh my gosh, another AI thing. But we want to know what excites you the most about the potential of AI in education and where you can see all this going with everyone.
I think for me, it's not about the AI itself. I've always felt like education needed to change and evolve like most other industries have, and education just kind of hasn't. I've always felt that from the time I was a student in a class. I don't think it's fundamentally changed. Yes, maybe every child has a laptop, but the types of tasks we're asking of them have not changed. And I think for me, in a world where like, okay, all the people you just named, Greg, are when they have their products, they're like, it will save you teachers time, save them time, saving time. But it's saving them time for doing the same tasks they've always done. Okay. So, right. So nothing's changing. And now if you theoretically think about this, teachers, let's save you time. AI will create the assignment for you. Now, guess what? The kids are going to go home and use AI to do the assignment because we used to say if an assignment is if a question's Googleable, it's not a good question. Well, now if an assignment's AIable, it's maybe not a good assignment, right? But the student's going to do it. And now guess what? Teachers, let's save you time. The AI will grade it for you. So that AI created it, did it, graded it. What's the point of the assignment? So I think for me, it's time to rethink what we are asking our students to do. And I always say the what, the why, the how. What we're asking them to do, why we're asking them to do it, and how we're assessing them. So for me, it's a shift I've always believed, and just AI is a catalyst to get us there.
And Greg, what do you see too? Because you're spending time also working with the state of Tennessee, is that correct? On some AI guidance as well. I mean, are you balancing that same excitement that Alana talked about that could be like, yeah, productivity, great, but also maybe the old way is still happening. We're just doing it faster.
Well, I think back to when I was hanging out with you all in Las Vegas, and I was on a podcast, and I said that the pandemic's transforming everything, and we're not going back.
I remember that.
Silly me! I didn't realize that everyone was going to go running back to where we were.
Can we bring that clip back? Can we cue it up? No.
Throw that
There's no going back from this. There's no going back.
Oh, yes.
No going back.
That's what I like about this. The fact that this is so transformative that there is no going back. And like you were saying, yes, questions that are AIable. But I look beyond that. And when I'm working with teachers, I say, yeah, this will save you time, but I need you to think about what are you going to do with that time that you have now? If their whole thing is to save time, yeah, good for you. But I need you to be more creative in what you're doing with your students. And I need the students to be more creative. And we're not looking for the end product in the first place. It's the whole learning process. That process is what we want to dig deep into. And my hope is that AI opens up and unveils the actual fact that we're looking at processes and not necessarily final products. So we could actually see what the kid actually knows and what they're able to do, not just input output.
We're on the spectrum of AI, we're introducing it to students, and it's good to be excited about the potential of what it could do for learning. You guys have both mentioned that a couple of times, what it could do potentially for learning. But then also there's this kind of the backlash that comes with everything. It's like, well, what if we become overly reliant or we feel like we have to use it all the time? So where are you guys on that spectrum? How do we balance all of this, or who's doing it? I mean, I assume it's the teachers, but are they, right?
So I was working with a group of coaches, academic coaches, and as we're going through the process of this coaching thing, one of the teachers like, oh, we can just get AI to do it. And we realized, why don't we get our brains to do it first? And then if we get stuck or if we need, we can look at AI. But, and I think that's one of the things, what did I say? I don't know. One of the things I'm trying to push out to not only the teachers, but the academic coaches and everyone, let's try to use our brains first before we run to AI to see. So we're not relying on it. Yes, we have access to AI. We can do all the things. I can push the button, say, hey, Meta, do this, and it happens. But what happens if we use our brains? Much like in the classroom when we have students grab their laptops and let's move them to a 45-degree angle so we can't see the screen so you can see the teachers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And even when I do digital citizenship classes with teachers, I say one of the main things, one of those really cool things that we can do with kids and technology, we can unplug and tell them not to use it. It's
Yes.
okay. And
It's
we need to
okay.
be at the point where we're doing the same thing with AI.
Though I think the key is, like, as a leader, if you're a leader listening, I don't particularly like policies that's like a one size fits all policy, because I think it's going to vary from district to district, building to building, teacher
True.
to teacher, assignment to assignment. And as a leader, I like to empower my teachers. And I think it, it all starts with setting, like having a position statement, so my teachers know where I stand, and then the students know where their teacher stands. So that's like a position. And I think it's really important that, number one, the teachers are educated, whether it's from me or their peers or a student, any one of the above. But I think putting that ownership and empowering the teachers to make these decisions, which is the E, embrace assignment guidelines, because it's going to literally vary from assignment to assignment. And what might be acceptable for one assignment today in one class may not be acceptable for a different assignment tomorrow. And I think that that's really important for teachers and students to know, that it's on an assignment by assignment basis. And we have a chatbot for the students to help them with their writing. So we had them use the chatbot to help them with their writing. And then we did a flash draft, no AI, pull out a piece of paper and pen, and I want you to write like a similar, like a draft of your work that they've been working on. And we actually found that using AI as a partner to help them with their thoughts and ideas and giving them feedback on their writing actually helped them become stronger writers when they didn't have the AI.
Yeah.
So I think for people that are listening, it's not about the reliance. It's about what I said before, the what, the why, the how, and rethinking the types of assignments you're asking them to do. And if it's them copying and pasting their assignment into AI, that's not cool. But if it's them using AI to give them feedback and support and helping them learn and grow, then they have a personalized tutor. And that teacher could never have walked around and supported every child in that capacity.
When we look at our students, we know there's inequities that happen right now. We know not every student has the same home structure, the same support structure outside to support that. So how can schools ensure that AI doesn't increase the digital divide, these inequities that we already are seeing with regular school now? How can we ensure that AI doesn't widen this divide that we currently have in our spaces?
I think a lot of it's doing a great job pulling in school AI. I actually pulled in Magic School a couple of years ago, or a year and a half ago, I don't know, because I knew that there were students that didn't have access to AI tools, and I wanted the teachers in those underperforming low-income schools in my district to be able to send out a chat bot to have those conversations to help that student get through that writing prompt with those students in that lower socioeconomic space, because yes, my kids, they're grown now, but my kids have always had access to all the things. And I know that my cousins, my nieces and nephews, they have their phones, and they had AI on their Snapchat and AI in their Instagram. Yeah. And these other kids, they didn't even have cell phones. And I was thinking there has to be a way that we can ensure that this group isn't going to be left behind.
For me, I see potentially what could be a very large digital divide between people that have access and people that don't. And I think most of the time we see it as a socioeconomic status. And this is the first time that I've ever seen a digital divide that has nothing to do with socioeconomic status and has everything to do with access, knowledge, and skills for artificial intelligence. And like I mentioned before, at our core, our job is to prepare students for their future. And by not educating them on how to use AI, we are putting them at a major disadvantage, because the reality is they will not get jobs in the workforce if they do not know how to use AI efficiently, because someone else that knows how to use it's going to be much more efficient, much more effective. They could probably do the job in half the time. And now with these operators and agents, like they're just going to be better off than the kids that don't know about it.
Do you think we should kick it back to the live version of us?
Yeah. So live, Adam and Carl, we're about to kick it back to you guys. So hopefully we checked all the boxes here, right?
Tell us what you think.
Yeah.